What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to my Raw reactions for the week of December the 14th, 2015. Let's talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, which emanated from the city of Philadelphia. We opened our show with Stephanie McMahon reacting to the events of TLC, where Roman Reigns viciously assaulted her husband, Triple H, and you did the one thing I said that you would have fucked up is if you brought down Roman Reigns in your opening segment and you gave him a microphone. And what do you know? They brought out Roman Reigns in the opening segment. They kept it short, so it wasn't, you know, the usual entirely terrible Roman Reigns promo. He was able to kind of work off step a little bit, but he's still not entirely great. Now, this leads us to a larger problem, which is that the character of Stephanie McMahon, there are no repercussions for almost anything she does, because we're no longer in an era where the men can attack the women. Like, it wasn't like she can't get a stunner anymore, she can't get a pedigree, she can't get the RKO. It just doesn't happen anymore. So, the last time she ever got, you know, any kind of thing happen to her was with Vicky. And Vicky's gone now, so she can do whatever she wants to any face or heel. And there's kind of no, you know, there's no repercussions for her actions, considering she's the boss. So her character is kind of, it doesn't really fit. But still, she's a good heel, and she gets heat, etc., etc. So basically, this ended with her slapping Reigns like 40 times, something like insane. And of course, Reigns can't do anything about it. And then she says, guess what? Guess what? Daddy's back. And that means Vincent Kennedy McMahon is going to be in the building this evening, because goddammit, if nobody else can get Roman Reigns over, Vince will fucking do it himself. So, the first match of the evening was Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose, which was a non-title match for the, well, non-title. So, Ambrose is your new IC champion, and not really sure why, but he is. And then we are not done yet with the Ambrose and Owens feud, because obviously Owens is going to have his rematch. So certainly Owens comes out, throws Ziggler out of the ring, pop-up powerbombed Ambrose, powerbombed Ziggler, powerbombed Ziggler on top of Ambrose. The spots look nice. But yeah, so that match had a non-finish. So that leads us into this match, which didn't really happen. So they started off with, like, first of all, you're like, wait, am I sitting here watching main event or Superstars? Like, why am I watching R-Truth and Bo Dallas on Raw? Like, what parallel universe am I in? What in the blue hell is going on? But no. This entire match was there for the reasoning of it's going to get interrupted. Like, what match would the fans not care that got interrupted by the man himself, Vince McMahon? So he comes out and says, "Get the hell out of my ring!" Rah! And proceeds to start cutting his promo on Roman Reigns. They go to commercial, right? They come back from commercial. Vince is just sitting there, like he doesn't realize they're back from commercial. And then finally gets up and gets in the ring and calls out Reigns. Reigns comes out. Reigns, I feel like there's some kind of a whiteboard somewhere that says, Roman Reigns, testicle jokes. Like, that's what he does now? Is that like his thing? Or, more realistically, Vince finds those hilarious, so of course they're gonna have him do that. But basically Vince carried this whole segment because obviously he's Vince. He can fucking do whatever he wants. Even at 70, he's just, you know, he's still the man. And Sheamus came out for a little bit, like, don't get your hands dirty with Reigns yourself, and I'll fight him later tonight for the title. And then Vince is like, no, this is my company. And then he's like, no, you're an old man, and there's a back and forth there. And basically what happens is they make the match for, okay, either you win the belt or you're fired. Now, in WWE, fired means you fucking buy a ticket and show up at the next Raw in the front row. Like, whenever they fire John Cena, he's on TV more every week. So, firing on Roman Reigns wouldn't actually mean anything, even in a storyline context. It's not like when CM Punk quit and then, I mean, it was off TV for like, 2 weeks or whatever it was. So basically Vince kicks him in the dick and then pieces out, and that is the setup for your main event. So the next match on the card was the tag team, the League of Nations tag team of Rusev and Del Rio versus Ryback and Jack Swagger, which is a weird tag team when you think about it, Ryback and Jack Swagger, but hey, whatever. Apparently, Wade Barrett was rehabbing a nerve thing in his neck, and he's back this week on SmackDown to do something, so he didn't leave for that long, but man, he just kind of vanished for no fucking... It was weird. He was on the pre-show at TLC, and then was not seen on TLC or Raw. It's like, where's Wade? So yeah, kind of a little whatever tag team match here, and Rusev and Del Rio win the match. We have another Rosebush segment, which I thought they had a little bit better jokes this week. Just a little bit better, making fun of Tommy Dreamer's hairline and his fatness. Something. There was a little more bite in what they're trying to do. Like, it needs to be, if they want it to be successful, it needs to be kind of an SNL Weekend Update type level of snark, if you will. But also, like, what is the point of this thing? Is he going to get into a feud with Tommy Dreamer? Like, is he going to wrestle? Or is he going to do these weird backstage vignettes? Like, I'm not sure what the end game is. And I don't know when it happened. I'm not sure when in the time frame of Raw it happened. But there was, the Primetime Players did like a Christmas.com, Shop Zone thing. But the fact that you had Raw, you had this 3 hours of Raw, and you couldn't have Titus and Stardust interact at all? Like, you ruined it. Like, what are you doing? Those were great. I think Truth should have him here. I think. No, you didn't have him. Wow, okay. Anyway, the next match was Tyler Breeze versus Neville. And you had The Miz at ringside, one of those, like, old-timey, like, megaphone things. Which was, I don't know. So I guess we're getting into some weird, like, Neville-Miz thing. And I'm not entirely sure what that means yet. So I'm assuming this Neville-Miz thing is going somewhere, but I'll be damned if I know what the end game is there. They had some backstage stuff where the Miz wants to learn an accent from Neville, and he called him, like, he said he can use his big Dumbo ears to flap around in Star Wars, and that was kind of funny. So next matchup was your Extreme Rules tag match rematch from TLC. It was the Wyatts versus Team Extreme. And this was a pretty good match. I mean, in terms of, a modern-day PG Extreme match, there's no blood, there's no, there's no ridiculous violence, but it had, plenty of cool spots in it. And the right team, once again, won the match, and that was the Wyatts. Went over. There were way less botches than there were at TLC. But as I said in my TLC predictions, that the Wyatts are the ones who should win this match because they're the ones who are sticking around, whereas guys like Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, not so much. They're kind of past their prime. In fact, that they did it in Philly was kind of crazy. Obviously, that is the home of ECW, more or less. So, yeah, not much else to say about that match. It was pretty good. No real complaints there. So, after that match, out comes the New Day to cut a very subdued New Day promo, kind of, giving their respect to the Usos and the Lucha Dragons for that amazing match, probably the best match of the night at TLC. And so they brought out the Usos and the Luchas. They made their apologies. And then as the Usos and Luchas are leaving, they went into their usual New Day, we're still the tag champs, we're the best, etc., etc., which prompted the Usos and the Luchas to come back in the ring and attack them. And man, the Philly crowd was booing the Usos and the Lucha Dragons. That was amazing. Like, the New Day were so over in Philly, because obviously, why wouldn't they be? They're just kind of like, I don't know that the Usos and the Lucha Dragons are used to getting booed, because they were like, wait, what's going on here? They're booing us? Wait, what? So that was, what it was. whether or not we get another 6-man tag type deal at the Rumble, or if they're just all in the Rumble, like you know, perhaps that'll be like a Raw thing for the belts. Obviously, most of those guys should be in the Rumble, but you know, perhaps they'll pull double duty and have, you know, a tag match and also be in the Rumble. I don't know. Anyway, moving us on to the Divas division. It was Brie and Alicia Fox versus Charlotte and Becky. I don't think Paige was on Raw. I'm not 100% sure, but in my memory, I don't remember seeing Paige on Raw. She actually might be on that European thing for NXT. Speaking of which, to go back to the opening segment where Steph's like, "Oh, my husband is in the hospital, he's coughing up blood," and I'm like, that's a weird way to phrase he's over in London for NXT TakeOver. Yeah, he kind of was on Twitter about that, like, the next day. I'm like, that's kayfabe, bro. Kayfabe, come on. Sell your fucking injury. Don't be on Twitter posting pictures being, "Hey, I'm in London, I'm fine." That was dumb. Anyway, this Divas tag match, because of course there's another fucking Divas tag match. We had Ric Flair at ringside causing the trip up on Alicia, which caused Becky to get in her disarmor and win the match. So Charlotte and Becky win. The match was kind of, you know, not much of anything. But that moves us on to our main event of the evening, the Make Roman Look Strong match, the Get Philadelphia to cheer for Roman Reigns match, because that is the power of Vince McMahon. I'll do it myself, damn it! Nobody else can put him over, god damn it, Vince is gonna do it himself. Even at 70, he is still the master. As old and as out of touch as Vince is in the current day, he is still the best heel in the business, bar fucking none. So therefore, your winner and your two-time WWE champion, doing it in the city of brotherly love, Roman Reigns. And there was no fucking shenanigans at the end. There was no nonsense at the end. He won the belt, and that was it. That was the end of the show. So Sheamus, yet again, for the 4th time or the 5th time, is a transitional fucking champion. Doesn't really hold the belt that long. But you know, he can still say he's held that belt a couple times. Here versus Superman Punch. Not a lot of guys can say that, so, you know, is what it is. I'm sure he's happy with his paychecks, so, you know, at the end of the day, that's, you know, kind of what's important. Anyway, yeah, so Vince was ringside. There was some stuff. He was like, he pulled the ref out, blah, blah, blah. Vince took a Superman Punch on the apron, and there was a brief interruption by the League of Nations, who, of course, Roman Reigns, make him look strong, kind of, you know, was able to dispatch all by his lonesome. Never mind, Roman's friends, Dean Ambrose and the Usos, are mysteriously not there, like they weren't there at TLC. Like, but you're supposed to be his friends. What are you doing? You're supposed to back him up on that kind of a shit. But no, gotta have Roman overcoming all the odds for your hard-earned dollars. Doesn't that sound familiar? Who else? Who else is back soon that overcomes the odds for your hard-earned dollars each and every week? It's John Cena. Spoiler. So yes, that was the end of your episode of Raw. Roman standing tall with the world title. Where it goes from here, because my prediction was that Roman Reigns was going to win the belt from Sheamus at the Rumble, and then, you know, have Brock win the Rumble, and then it's Roman and Brock at Mania again. That was my prediction, and obviously you have Roman go over Brock at Mania to cement him as the guy. Now, I think the main question is, if Roman Reigns can manage to not get injured for the next, you know, year and a half, will they have him hold that belt to beat CM Punk's record of 434 days? Because you know they hate that. They spent so long to beat AJ Lee's record. You know they are chomping at the bit to beat that CM Punk record. So that is the big question looming on this thing with his title reign. But, you know, all up in the air. All remains to be seen. As we saw, like, they could have had that for Seth Rollins to hold that belt for that long, because he was already at, like, you know, over a half year. Like, Mania would have been a year for that win. They could have had Rollins, had he not got hurt, break that record. But whether or not anybody in this company who keeps getting hurt can stay healthy enough to break that record would be pretty amazing. Spoiler, you can make it be John Cena. When is he ever hurt? Seriously, he's John Cena. Anyway, Roman's going to get his spear here and win the belt, because of course he will. There it goes. Alright. This video game knows what's up. The big dog is doing his thing, and that should be it for this match. That should be it for this video, because, oh no, he kicked out. Well, that is it for this video. I've been sitting here talking for a bit, so that's going to wrap it up. I am your host, Attack Slug. Those were my thoughts on Monday Night Raw for the 14th of December, 2015. Stay tuned to this channel for more videos and more whatever else every damn day of the week. And I will see you next time right here on this channel. Really, video game? You fucked it up, video game. That's not how it works. That's not who won that match. Anyway, I'm out.